This program proudly presented by Yellow, American Express, Optus and Qantas Business Rewards.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Matters. I'm Peter Applebaum, I'm your host, and this show is designed to give you lots of practical ideas, tips and strategies to help your business and your brand achieve their full potential. Maybe you're a small business and you're up to your neck in alligators. How can you stand out, grow your business and perhaps be able to take a few days off and spend more time with your family and friends? What a concept. Tonight's episode focuses on a common problem with small to medium organisations, that is, how to take on larger and better resourced competitors and win new business, customers and ultimately more revenue. In short, how to beat the big boys. Diem Fuggersberger is a Vietnamese refugee turned entrepreneurial force of nature. After starting a successful food flavour business, Berger Ingredients, with her husband in 2009, Diem spotted a gap in the prepared food market, the need for healthy, fast-to-cook kids' meals. The gluten and lactose-free Coco Lucas range was launched not long afterwards. An excellent marketer, Diem calls Coco Lucas the world's first frozen meals for junior foodies. The beautifully packaged range now competes for shelf space against major multinational corporations like Nestle, McCain and Simplot. I met with Diem for a chat in her factory. Tell us how Berger Ingredients first got started.
Berger Ingredients first got started because due to our losses in 2009, and 20 of my family members were out of job, and I was in $900,000 debt, and we were homeless. So a few months after we lost everything, I founded Berger Ingredients. So Berger Ingredients is a company that does marinades, that does sprinkles, blendings for big companies like Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, manufacturing companies like Primo Small Good and Teas, and we have branched out to making muesli, baby food, and now ready meals. And then 2015, I founded Coco Lucas, which is a children's meals aged between 3 to 12 years old. And
I understand that Coco Lucas is now ranged in Woolworths. Yes. How many outlets is it in Woolworths?
Coco Lucas is now currently in 919 stores in Woolworths across Australia.
And that's an amazing story in itself, because you're up against companies like Simplot, Nestle, Vesco and McCain. So how did you manage to do that?
I think with me, I've always had the inner fire to really believe in what I truly believe. There's a gap in the market because there's food for kids between 1 to 4, and there's food for adults, and there's a gap between what I think it's called junior foodies, so it's for 3 to 12, and that's a gap. So I think we have a strong point of difference, and I was inspired by my daughter Coco, who's a fussy eater, and Lucas, who was born with all these allergens. And I think my strong point is I've got a real story.
So tell us about your branding strategy and how you employ it on a daily basis.
When I launched Coco Lucas, I was put in the deep end what marketing is. So I make so many mistakes, and finally I realized what comes down to me is the 3 elements that really work for me. So my first one is a personal brand, which is myself. Yep. The second is the logo brand, which is a Coco Lucas logo. And the third is the product brand. So I actually have a product, which is the kids' meal.
With those 3 branding elements, how has that helped you to get distribution into those amazing 900 plus Woolworths outlets, for example?
I think with those 3 elements is because I'm the brand owner. So if I see how the community or the market reacts, I can actually react straight away. Whereas if you're a brand that owns by a corporate company, you can't react to it as quick, and I can change my strategy more quickly to suit the market.
We know that you've recently obtained an export license, Diem. What are you going to do with it?
So from this year on, we're going to be exporting Coco Lucas to South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, potentially Vietnam and New Zealand.
That's Amazing. Now, one thing I know about you, Diem, is that you're a great connector. Networking is so important and going that extra mile. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm actually a big believer in connections and collaboration. So I really think I wouldn't be where I am without the connection. So in 2012, Women in Focus CBA has actually put me in a conference, and through there I've actually connected with a lot of people from different fields, and it's given me a lot of inner confidence, and I always want to share that with any entrepreneurs, anyone I work with, because I think connections and collaboration can take you to very different places and can open a lot of doors for you. And just to share with, you know, the sisterhood or the brotherhood, it's just nice.
To give us more insights is Diem again. So hello Diem, that's an incredibly impressive story.
Hi Peter, thank you for having me on the show.
Diem, you've had some incredible successes against some massive companies. What's your secret?
Well, when I started Coco Lucas, I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do. So with the big boys, how I compete against them is they tend to look at what the competitors do and they don't look at what the consumer mood is. Secondly, they tend to make product that is fit their production line or their packaging, and they're not looking at what the consumer trends are. And thirdly, they look at too much scan data and they're not looking at what the consumer's needs are. So that's where I come in and make a big difference.
Fantastic. And you're also keeping up with the big boys by doing business with them as well. As we mentioned in the story, you're in 900 plus Woolworths outlets. How have you done that? Because that's quite an incredible story in itself.
How I've done that is I'm offering the retailers what they don't already have. So I'm giving them something that is missing in the niche of the market. So there's foods for baby and toddlers, and there isn't food for kids between 3 to 12, which is the junior foodies. So I'm actually filling in the gap of the missing category.
Fantastic. And what would you recommend to other business people who are now where you were a couple of years ago? What are the things they can do?
One of the things I can do is, number one, when you wanted to launch a product or a brand, you have to really do your research very thoroughly. You always have a very, very deep passion. And if someone tries to tell you that something that doesn't work, you never, ever, ever give up. You just continue and be persistent until you nail it. So
be persistent. Be very focused on what you can do. And I know, my final question, I know you've done, and we've looked at some of the presentations you've done for Woolworths, you do a range of different marketing activities, so it's not just one thing, it's several things, isn't it? What are some of, just in a nutshell, what are the few things you've done? So firstly, some of the things I do is every month I have 20% off on my meals. Right. Secondly, I actually, like for example, next week I'm doing in-store gold coins, so I'm giving out like about 1,000 meals, and their give back is a gold coin, and that gold coins will go to a charity that I nominated. Or the third thing is called a decal. So on the shelf of the fridge, it will say, try me, or this is new. Or I collaborate with celebrity chefs to go to other schools and give out meals. So I'm always constantly engaging into the community and the consumer. Fantastic. Diem, thank you so much for your time. They were fantastic insights. We loved visiting you out at your factory and really enjoyed having you in the studio today. Thank you. Thank you. And after the break, our marketing experts talk strategies, tips and tactics to help you beat the big boys. And don't forget to send in your thoughts and questions to feedback@marketingmatters.com.
Marketing Matters returns soon. Thanks to American Express Business Explorer. Let your business expenses reward you. Marketing Matters is proudly presented by Yellow. Do business with Yellow. Connect at yellow.com.au.
Welcome back to Marketing Matters. Now here's a lesson in getting some publicity for your product. When Nutella slashed their prices by 70% in a French supermarket, nobody expected this riot. So, Daniel, obviously we don't want to create riots for our products and services. What are your thoughts about creating some emotional connections to your brands where you can get people really emotionally engaged?
Yeah, so I think what's quite important is determining your value as an individual. applying that to your business and then essentially providing that to your clientele base, that particular target market. We were quite effective in our social media advertising, where we did a promotional video, basically focusing on what Adco Plumbing meant to myself and my brother, and that it was more than just a profitable business. It was actually a legacy that we were building that we were proud to call our own. So
you humanised the brand.
I humanised the brand.
Fantastic.
I created an emotional connection, and I had extraordinary feedback from it.
Fantastic. And Amanda, similar type of story with Sydney Harbour Escapes?
Yeah, we try to sort of really look after our customers, and we start with our staff, and we really feel like we're like a family. And I think once you start with your own business like a family, which is quite easy in a small business, then everything you do is trying to embrace your customers. And I think that that message gets sent out so that everyone feels like they're valued. And there's an interesting thing on marketing about why you become loyal. And why you become loyal is not because you've had bad service, but because you haven't been made to feel special. And so if you can do something to make people feel special, then that's going to make a big difference.
Fantastic. Okay, so moving on to the next subject, which I know is close to your heart, Christian, and that is advertising the only marketing you can do? What's your answer to that?
Look, I don't think it is. I think it's more about understanding that marketing is more than advertising. So, you know, that could be product pricing. I guess I think about marketing as being communication. So that is the whole end-to-end experience for a consumer and how you can influence that. So definitely more than just promotion or advertising.
Yep.
It's a whole spectrum of things.
And do you feel advertising is as effective as it was?
I think it's becoming more effective. I think that, you know, with the emergence of social media and new technologies, we're actually able to target and really make sure that messages are actually meeting a more sort of appropriate audience.
Right.
You know, somebody that's ready or potentially going to be fitting the target for a customer or a consumer.
Okay, which leads us back to you, Daniel. Google and Facebook, do you do much advertising on those?
Yeah, I'm quite present on Facebook and Google, and I'm more with Yellow Pages,
right.
Basically found on the front page of Google, and that's been quite effective in targeting different demographics. Obviously, social media targeting a different demographic to what Google and Yellow Pages online would do, but it's working very effectively. And I think that advertising, there's such a misconception of people fearing advertising and spending the money, and they believe that a natural network is the best way to advertise, but sometimes you need to expand your opportunity to network by advertising.
Right. So thank you so much for giving us your thoughts, Christian, Amanda and Daniel. So I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Marketing Matters is back in a moment, thanks to Qantas Business Rewards, rewarding Australian business. Marketing Matters is proudly presented by Yellow. Do business with Yellow. Connect at yellow.com.au.
Welcome back. As marketers, we always need to know what our customers, in this case you the viewer, what you want, what you don't want, what you like or what you hate. So every week we're going to pass on feedback we've received. Today I'd like to give you some feedback from 537 small to medium business owners and managers via our research partners Pure Profile. So the first chart, as you can see, we asked, what are your biggest marketing challenges? And in order of preference, the biggest one was too many competitors. 44.9% of our respondents said that. 40% said customers primarily buy on price, and 34.8% there was not enough money to market effectively. So these are the sorts of insights we're going to be using for when we put together all of our shows for Marketing Matters. So if you go to the next slide, if you had $50,000 to spend on your marketing budget, what would you spend it on? This was incredibly interesting. We found by a factor of more than 2 that people said they wanted a new website, Facebook or Google ads, or ads on relevant websites. So digital is certainly a hot topic, followed by TV and radio ads, and also coming in a long way third, letterbox drops and direct mail campaigns. So believe it or not, letterbox and DM still works out there. And finally, If there was a TV marketing show to help you, what aspect of marketing would you like to learn more about? And overwhelmingly, almost 60% have said social media, 40% said brand building, and 38.6% said sales. So that's the sort of mantra that we're going to be using for the show. We're going to tell you all about digital marketing and a whole range of other things, but certainly a range of different marketing strategies that we can use as well. So that's all for now, and remember, whoever you are and whatever your business needs, we're here to help you. And remember, send in your thoughts and questions to feedback@marketingmatterstv.com. Thanks for watching Marketing Matters. See you next week.
This program was proudly presented by Yellow, American Express, Optus and Qantas Business Rewards.